you have how many of these 10 homework assignments? Do you remember that?
I think 8.
You need to have 7, actually.
Or 7, yeah.
70%. And you also know that in order to pass an exam, you need to have 70% done correctly. Okay, 70 out of 100, of course. All right. So let's see how many people have 68. So I guess that's going to be it. Okay, cheers. Cheers.
Cheers.
What are you drinking? This is just coffee.
I'm also drinking coffee, yeah.
Okay. So do we say cheers when we drink coffee?
I guess, yeah.
Well, not really. You know, I mean, we usually say cheers in both English and Serbian when we drink an alcoholic drink. So, you know, but I like to say cheers all the time because people can never know what it is actually that I'm drinking, right? You can spike anything that you drink. If you spike something, it means what? Anyone?
To put alcohol in it.
Yeah, to add a squirt of alcohol or something like that. Yeah, okay. All right. So we might touch upon that topic around Christmas time because if we have some time left, we could talk about some Christmas customs, including food and drink. And have you heard of mulled wine? Mulled wine, M-U-L-L-E-D. You haven't heard of it? That's a traditional Christmas drink. So it's wine cooked with all kinds of spices and some citrus fruit. To je neka vrsta ili varijacija na naše kuvano vino. So that's a traditional Christmas drink. And then have you heard of eggnog? Has anyone ever tasted eggnog?
Never tasted, I've heard about it.
Okay. Another drink that people in English-speaking countries usually drink at or around Christmas. Yes, so if we have some extra time, then we'll talk a bit about that. So eggnog, for example, could be alcoholic, or it could be alcoholic in quotation marks for alcoholics, or it could be non-alcoholic. So with no alcohol. So anyway, 73 people. I think that's it. So you know about homework. So I'll try to make sure to mark it as an ungraded assignment next time. But you know, I do apologize in advance. These things will happen. So not only on my part, but you know, other people teaching courses will you know. Do the same things. So be prepared for that and just don't worry. But it's always a good idea to ask. Okay, have you really done your homework? Did you find it difficult? Emilia, no? Okay, that's nice to hear. Okay, so as usual, we're going to check our homework first, then we'll do something else from the reader. I would also like to announce that on the 18th, so that's 2 weeks from now, you will do the first storytelling practice with me. So in-class storytelling practice, just like the one that you did with Dayan yesterday. Did you do it yesterday?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. All right. So you're going to do the same, of course, with a different story with me in 2 weeks from now, so that we manage to squeeze all 4 of your storytelling practices before New Year's / Serbian Christmas holiday season. Okay, because after that, we only have 1 week worth of classes. So then you'll get your stories back and so on. Also, on the same day, so 2 weeks from now, we're going to do a midterm test practice. You know that we're going to have a midterm test. And, you know, I'll let you know what the midterm test will look like. Well, I'll show you what it will look like, but so 2 weeks from now. But now I will just describe it. So it's going to be actually something that seems to be very simple. You will get 1 picture, and you will get a few minutes only to write a very short essay. So anywhere between 100 and 150 words. So it's more like a passage than an actual essay, or it's like a story in which you will describe what's going on in the picture. And, the topics that the picture will deal with will be the topics that we will cover by the date of the midterm test. So as far as use 1 is concerned, that will be transportation, holidays, blah, 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 our first giant topic. And our second topic, which is food, cooking, restaurants, eating, preparing food, grocery shopping, anything related to food. So we'll have 2 huge topics covered by the day of the midterm. Okay, so that's it. Any questions about that? I'll take it as a no. All right, shall we check our not midterm test? Yes, Nadia. Yes, go ahead, Nadia.
Javila sam se da radim domaći.
Super. Okay, so yes, this is my homework. I've done it. Okay, so I hope it's okay with you if I switch off the camera now, because it would be kind of silly you watching me, go through my pages from the reader, because I don't know, and I should not know these texts by heart, and then look at you. Okay, so Nadia, yes, go ahead. Will you start with page 10? Is that what you volunteered for?
Yes.
Wonderful. Okay, so can you read about the countryside? Not everything, just one of these.
Okay, yes.
Little passages. Good. Okay. So the countryside is all yours, and we're all ears.
Okay, away from the urban problems of the city lies the rural peace and quiet of the countryside. The air is more likely to be clear and unpolluted. The pace of life is slower, and the people living in small villages more relaxed and friendly. Some land is cultivated, and you will see crops growing, as well as animals grazing on the farms. Some areas of particular natural beauty are designated.
Like officially chosen.
As national parks by the government, and here wildlife can live and move about safely. It is in places remote from the noisy cities that you can experience the true beauty of nature.
Right. Thank you very much, Nadia. Okay, a couple of questions and one statement. Let me start with the statement first. Okay, so try not to use the unless you're emphasizing whatever it is that you're saying or reading. Okay. All right. So let me see. So that was Nadia. Yes. So many volunteers. This is lovely, guys. Thank you very much for being so active. But before, so Vasilia is the next one. I have to have a look at this list in which you volunteered. Oh no, he gave up. Now it's Ksenia.
No, I'm here.
Oh, okay, because you kind of disappeared from my list. Okay, stay there, be ready for this, but you know me, I cannot resist asking some questions. Okay, so, my turn now. Pace. The pace of life is slower. What is pace? I'm not asking you in Serbian, I'm asking you in English. Can you provide the English explanation or definition? Anyone?
Are you asking me or everyone?
I'm asking. No. Sorry, Nadia. I didn't want to scare you. I'm not asking you. I'm asking everyone.
Okay.
Anyone?
Could I give it a try?
Yes, please.
Me or?
Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm typing and I'm totally incapable of
Okay.
doing
So it is like the speed at which we
yes.
do things in our life, or the way that it goes by. It could be said that some people have a fast pace of life, which means that they go about it living more vigorously and just, like to do more things and activities. So that's like an example of it.
Right, great. Okay, so what I typed for you, yes, thank you, that was lovely. Yeah, so in this case, pace is the perfect word, but imagine that you have this in your final exam. Remember what we said? If we happen to do the final exam at the faculty, then it will consist of a few closed tests like these without the vocabulary given above, and an exercise with individual sentences, and an exercise in which you will be asked to explain the difference between two terms. Yes, so if this were an exercise in your final exam, then here I would definitely accept any of these words, tempo and rhythm, because they are total synonyms in this case. Speed is not really a good word because we don't really collocate this noun speed with life. So speed of life, yeah, everyone understands what it means, but it sounds a bit clumsy and awkward. So yeah, so anything that is acceptable will be accepted. And sometimes you can have multiple solutions that are perfectly fine in a single gap. Cultivated land. Give me the Serbian equivalent for this one. Cultivated. Anyone?
Njiva.
What's that?
Like
Cultivated land. Obrađena zemlja.
obrađena.
Obrađena zemlja. Yeah. Oh, by the way, evo Jana je napisala. Thank you, Jana. Please pay attention to the spelling of rhythm. This word has a very weird spelling. And in an exam, if you don't want to lose half a point for the wrong spelling, then opt for an easier word in terms of its spelling. Okay. You see some animals grazing. So if animals graze, what is it that they actually do? To graze.
You're eating grass.
Exactly. Thank you. Right. So životinje pasu na srpskom. Designated as national parks. We said designated, like to be officially chosen or named as something. Wildlife, you know what that is? That refers to wild animals. And look at the final blank. It says in places remote from the noisy cities and so on. Remote. Could you use another word here? Of course, in this particular exercise, we have to use this word because it's given above the text. But imagine that this is your exam test, that you don't have any vocabulary given above this passage. So remote is fine.
Maybe isolated areas or something like that. Isolated places.
Well, can you say isolated from the noisy cities?
Well, yes, like they're secluded from that rural place of living and stuff like that because it's more nature oriented.
Okay. Okay. Isolated could be. Yes. Anything else?
Disconnected.
Disconnected.
Distant.
Disconnected is kind of not really the right word. But yes, let me check.
Maybe apart from.
Chat. I'm sorry.
Maybe apart from.
But apart from means except. So not really. But I see the chat far from noisy cities, right? Far away from noisy cities and distant from noisy cities. Yeah. So these
Isolated, maybe?
isolated, that's what we said.
Oh, right. Sorry.
Yes, right. Isolated as well. Okay.
Maybe
Good.
even secluded.
Yes, that's. I think Yana said that. I'm sorry, I cannot really follow who is saying what. Okay. So, who would like to read the seaside? I think it was Ksenia. Is that okay?
Well, excuse me, but I think
I'm
you.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Okay. I'm so
It's
sorry.
fine. It's fine.
All right. I'll punish myself somehow. Okay.
You don't have to. You don't have to.
All right. Okay. All right, Vasily, it's all yours. This is a lovely topic, the seaside. Okay, go ahead.
Many people's idea of relaxation is to sit on a sandy beach gazing at the broad horizon or watching the waves roll in one after the other. But the sea can be dangerous, and every year, hundreds of bathers drown either when they are carried out to sea by strong currents or simply because they can't swim and find themselves out of their depth, with their feet no longer touching the bottom. And hundreds more have to be rescued by lifeguards. If you want to dive into the sea from rocks or some other high point, make sure it's deep enough. If it's shallow, you could seriously injure yourself. And finally, if you decide to walk along the high cliffs overlooking the beach and the sea, don't go too near the edge.
Okay, very nice. Thank you, Vasilia. Thank you. Okay, some questions for everyone. To gaze. To gaze means what?
To look at something.
Maybe to stare, to watch something.
Steadily, as Milica says. Yeah, Milica, very nice. Yeah, steadily. Yeah, or to stare. So the stare is not a perfectly polite word, but yes. Znači, gledati, ne tremice, gledati dugo. Okay. Horizon, you know that. The waves roll in, meaning they come one after the other. Bathers. What's the difference between a bath or bath in British English and to bathe? So I've already given you a clue. A bath is a noun, right? And bathe is a verb. Okay. All right. I'm typing. All right. Which one is which? Even many native speakers use just one of these spellings to cover both meanings, but they are very different words, and the spellings should be different. So the first one is bath or bath. What does that mean? What's a bath or bath? Is a noun.
It's a noun.
Okay, good enough. Bathe is a verb, yes. To bathe means to take a bath or to take a swim even. Okay, to sunbathe. There it is in the chat. Sunbathe. What does that mean? Da sunčati se. Yeah, to catch some rays. Okay. To drown. Okay, drown. Udaviti se, you know that. What's a current? This one here, current.
Well, I think, yeah, that's what I wanted to say.
Okay, I'm typing. Okay, all right, there it is. Okay, so I would write this on the board if we had a board. Anyway, so what's the difference between these two words? But they are both pronounced as current. Current.
I think currant with an A is a type of fruit.
Yes. Doesn't have to be dried, could be dried. To ribizla. Znači ima i black currant, crna ribizla, ima ona obična crvena. Okay, to je ribizla. And what's the second one? Rekao neko malo pre struja, da, as in an electrical current, or current as in a struja u moru, jezeru, ne znam da li u jezeru ima, u reci i tako nešto. U moru uglavnom. I naravno, Nađa, thank you very much. So that can also be an adjective. And it means trenutni. Yes, thank you. Good. All right. To find oneself out of their depth. You have the definition of this following this clause. So with your feet no longer touching the bottom. Znači u predubokoj vodi. And then what's the opposite of shallow?
Deep.
Deep.
Yes, deep. Yeah. So you have the deep end of the pool and the shallow end of the pool, for example. Okay, and who wants to read about the mountains? So is it Ksenia now, if I may say?
Yes, yes, it was. Yeah.
All right, no take us. Okay, good. Ksenia, would you still like to read this paragraph?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, wonderful.
I would like to.
Thank you. Go ahead.
The Himalayas are the best known mountain range in the world, and Mount Everest, with a height of 8,880 meters, is the highest mountain. Since Edmund Hillary made the first ascent in 1953, mountaineers from many countries have managed to climb the peak. Normally, they need to take oxygen cylinders to help them breathe and other special equipment, including ropes to connect themselves to each other. It's a dangerous sport, and many people have lost their lives, not just on the way back, on the way up, but during the descent as well.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much. Okay, so what's a mountain range? Tell me in Serbian.
Možda venac, kao planinski venac.
Planinski venac, tačno. So the Himalayas are probably the most famous, the most well-known mountain range. And what's a mountain top? Planinski vrh, right? Okay. Dobro. I naravno, samo mountain, to je planina. Okay. Dobro. So Mount Everest with a height of blah, blah, blah. What is the adjective form? So the noun form is height. What is the adjective form? Anyone?
Hi.
Hi. Right, but not hi, H-I, as hello. I have to tell you this. This is what really happened. In many years ago, it happened to a friend and a colleague of mine who taught English at a private language school. And she had a group of adults who were a bit too old to be beginners, but they were beginners. I also had a group like that. And they used to call that group ljiljini specijalci, because it's really very hard to work with people who are over 40 years old and who have never ever learned any foreign language apart from school, which was like, in the ancient times. So anyway, so this friend of mine had a group like that. And, it was a group of people who worked in some company in Niš, and the company was actually paying for their class. So many of them did not attend the course voluntarily. And that's an additional type of problem. So they were very, very frustrated by the absence of spelling rules in English. When this friend of mine explained or tried to explain the adjective high, and she was talking, the text was about a mountain, so she was trying to explain the pronunciation, and then, they kept reading hig, and then she said, you know what, this is actually easy to remember, because it's pronounced exactly the same as that word that you use to greet someone. And then one of the frustrated adults in her class just threw the notebook and said, Nećete valjda da mi kažete da se ovo čita hello, pa kakav je ovo jezik? Do you know what she meant? Do you know what word she had in mind? Yes, of course. Hi. Yes, of course. Okay. Not hello. Okay. Yeah, it sounds really weird because I'm telling you something like a joke, which is actually true, and that's supposed to make it even funnier. But there's total silence, from you. Okay. Yeah. I'll imagine that at least one person is laughing. Okay. Good. So if the noun form is depth, what's the adjective?
Deep.
Deep. Yes, thank you. Okay. If the adjective form is wide, what's the noun form?
Width.
Width. Thank you. If the adjective is broad, which is synonymous with wide in most contexts, what's the noun form? This is a tough one.
Broadness?
No. Breadth. Yeah. Okay. So that's a difficult one. Okay. If the adjective is long, the noun is
length.
Length. Yes, length. Good. Nice. All right. So look at the word in C. He made the first ascent. I guess that for many of you, ascent is a new word. What does it mean? How would you translate it?
Maybe like climbing.
Ascent is a noun and ascend is a verb. They actually mean the exact same thing, almost, but ascend is a verb and ascent is a noun.
Good. Yes. Just kidding. Yeah. Very nice. Very nice. Thank you. So I guess you could see what I was typing, or you were reading my mind, because I typed this like 3 minutes ago and I was just waiting to press enter. Okay. So yes, this is what you said: ascend and ascent. Okay. So the word here that we need, obviously, is a noun, but we should know the verb as well. So I'm sending you the verb. And so that's in Serbian, obično je to uspon, okay? Okay. Ili the action of climbing, peti se, penjati se, ako je glagol. Odnosno penjati se ako je imenica, glagolska imenica. What's the opposite of ascend and ascent? You have the noun form in the text again.
Descend.
There they are. Descend and descend.
Descent.
Yeah. So they are yeah. The stress is on the second syllable everywhere. Okay. Good. Peak. What's a mountain peak? It's basically like a mountain top. It's just that it's really sharply pointed. So
isn't it like the highest point of the mountain?
Yeah. And especially a sharply pointed mountain top. Yes. Znači kao najviša tačka. Yeah, I think you know everything else. I don't have any more questions. Do you have any questions or comments or anything? Nope. Okay. So guys, if we were in a classroom, and we aren't, then we would check the homework that you had on page 11 by simply taking turns and, by having one student read one sentence. But it's not doable in this way. So I would have to ask one person to read exercise 1 for us and the other person to read exercise 2. Otherwise, if I asked one person to read one sentence, that would take forever, and that would be really very, very unwise. So the raised hands, are they still on? Jel ovo važi? Velimir prvi, Predrag drugi.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. If you change your mind, please say so. So, Velimir or Predrag, who would like exercise 1? Because the other one would get exercise 2.
I mean, I can do the first one.
Yes, please. Radio voice.
Oh.
Okay.
Most of the young people on the boat slept on the deck in their sleeping bags.
Stop for a second. Okay. Do we all know what a deck is?
That's the front of the ship, or the top of the ship.
Yeah. That's usually that type of a floor, usually with wooden boards that it is built usually either a part of the length of the ship or across the whole ship. Okay, paluba. So it depends on the boat or ship, you know. If it's a cruiser, then the deck is huge and usually goes all around the ship, especially on those top floors. Okay, go on, read the next one.
As the train drew into the station, Terry could see her sister waiting on the platform.
Aha, give me the Serbian term for a platform. I'm asking everyone. Peron, thank you, Jana, peron, da. Znači, nemojte kažete platforma, nije platforma, nego peron. Platforma je nešto drugo. Mislim, to jeste platforma because it's a raised part, but we don't call it platforma, we call it peron. Okay, see?
I was so nervous about flying that I left my bag in the departure lounge.
Right. Okay. So we already know what it is, but let me tell you something. So as you can see, this exercise has been taken from a book. So a legitimate source, a book by a renowned publisher. But look at the terms given in the box above. A box, to znate, to je onaj uokvireni deo u nekom vežbanju. Vidite dva termina, coach station written with a hyphen and departure lounge written with a hyphen. So it's not a horrible mistake to use a hyphen here and treat them as a single word, but in the vast majority of cases, these are two words. Znači coach, jedna reč, station, druga reč. Znači termin od dve reči. Takođe, departure, jedna reč, lounge, druga reč, a ne ovako spojeno sa hyphen. And if we ever do the final exam in the faculty building, then we would count coach, station as two words, departure, lounge as two words. In other words, if you get a closed test, I will give you two blanks there. Razumete? Znači, pribeležite to negde, evo baš kod ovog vežbanja možete da pribeležite sebi. Znači, mi ćemo ovo da pišemo kao dve reči, ne hyphenated. If something is hyphenated, it counts as a single word, but we are going to count them as two-word phrases. Okay, može ti?
I read a few weeks ago, I was Googling it, I read on a site that, for example, adjectives that have a hyphen, they can have a hyphen when they're used in front of a noun, so when they're used as adjectives, but they don't have a hyphen when they're, for example, part of a verb construction.
Yes. For example, a well-known publisher. Tu imamo hyphen between well and known. However, if we say Oxford University Press is a publisher that is truly well known,
yeah, those are two words.
We don't have a hyphen. Yeah, but listen, these are nouns. Yeah, these are nouns.
Yeah, sam se tada dodam za...
Da, samo ste hteli da se ne dovežete kad je taj tricky thing about hyphens. Yes. And of course, you're right. Thank you. Any other comments? No? Okay, let me see. There's something in the chat. Peron stoji, dobro. Okay, good. So, can we move on to D?
Yeah, by the time I got to the coach station, the express bus to Scotland had left.
Yeah, the express bus to Scotland had left. What's a coach station? What's the difference, actually, between a bus and a coach? We've mentioned that before. A bus and a coach?
isn't it like a bus is usually for regular citizens, and coach is like for sports teams and such?
Well, yeah, a coach could be a trainer, and that has to do with sports. But yes, when they travel, they use a coach. But here's the thing. So you can find a bus in any larger town that has a bus service. And of course, in cities, there are God only knows how many bus lines. But a coach is a more luxurious bus. It's a really comfortable bus, sometimes a double-decker, and it's intended for longer distances, so for long distance traveling, okay? And it usually has those soft plush seats. It has air conditioning. Sometimes it has a bathroom that rarely works or never works in this country, but sometimes it has a bar. So that would be a coach, a more comfortable bus that takes you from one town or one city to another, whereas a bus takes you from point A to point B within a town or a city. Okay, znači bus je gradski autobus, a coach je međugradski, recimo tako, na srpskom. Okay. Može i?
As soon as the boat left the harbor, the storm began.
Okay, you know what a harbor is? All right.
It's basically a port.
Yes, okay. How about F?
We hadn't had anything to eat, but luckily there was a buffet on the train.
Okay, so this word is pronounced buffet in American English and buffet in British English. So na britanskom oni izgovaraju beogradski. Just kidding. Okay, so the stress is on the first syllable, buffet, in British English. So here, in this particular sentence, what's the meaning? So that's the cart of a train where you can get something to eat and drink. To se kod nas zove vagon restoran. Jeste čuli za to? Mi baš i nemamo neke vozove, so never mind. But this is a huge thing. It's an important thing in Western countries. Yeah. What else can the word buffet or buffet mean? Especially in American English.
Is it maybe an all-you-can-eat table?
Exactly. It's an all-you-can-eat place, not just a table. It's a place. It's a restaurant type, an all-you-can-eat place. Yeah. If you follow The Simpsons, which I stopped a while ago, but by the time I stopped, Homer Simpson made 2 buffets go bankrupt after his visit. Okay. Good. What about G?
I'm afraid there's only one first-class cabin free on the boat.
Right. So what's a cabin, everyone? Again, I'm asking everyone. Cabin? Anyone? So that's a room on a boat. A room on a boat or ship or cruiser. Yeah. Okay. H?
Tim reached Paris safely, but his luggage didn't reach its destination.
Yes, very nice. I?
There was a queue of cars on the quay waiting for the car ferry to the island.
Okay, so this is in British English, this is key. Yeah, key. Čita se kao ključ in British English. Yeah. You know what a ferry is? I kod nas se zove ferry, ferryboat, trajekt, to je sve. And the last sentence?
Our plane nearly crashed into a fire engine on the runway.
Good. Okay. We've also talked about the 2 meanings of the word runway. Okay. We mentioned catwalk. We mentioned runaway, which is a totally different word. So I think we're done with this exercise unless someone has a question. Question? Nope. Okay. I think it's Velimir now. Yeah? Could you do it? rise too. So just read the word that should be the correct word, the correct choice. Oh, yeah, I mean, I'm sorry. I wasn't clear enough. Read the whole sentence, not with both words, but just read the one that you have chosen. Yeah. No, I yeah. Okay. Very nice. Stop for a second. So if something like a means of transportation is delayed, it means it will arrive late, right? Why not his plane was canceled? Because listen, you can cancel a flight, but not really a plane. Znači, otkazuje se let, ne otkazuje se avion. Na srpskom i jedno i drugo se kaže. I naravno kad kažemo otkazan mi je avion, naravno da podrazumevamo da mislimo na let. But in English, you know, to cancel a flight sounds perfectly fine. To cancel a plane does not sound good. Ksenia has raised a hand. Okay, Ksenia.
Yes.
Yes. So that was not a recent hand that you raised?
Yes, I have raised my hand.
Yes. Okay. So do you have a question?
No, I want to read the second one.
But we said Velimir will read the whole.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah. No. That's okay. Because that will go much faster. We'll really save a lot of time. Trust me.
Okay.
Yeah. So thank you. I'm sorry. Okay, Velimir, can you read the second sentence? Very nice. Yeah. Give the passengers this is a pay rise, actually. Yeah, so they don't give passengers pay rises. What's the difference between a pay rise and a pay raise? So you automatically pronounce this as pay raise. Why? Can you solve the mystery? So the thing is that a pay rise is British English, pay raise American English. And we're so bombarded by American English from everywhere that, you know, we automatically read this in this particular variety of English, American English. So, but it's the same thing. Znači, povišica, povećanje plate, pay rise ili samo rise in British English, pay raise or samo raise in American English. Okay, good. See? Nice. Okay. Grounded? No. Oh gosh. No. D? Good. I have nothing to ask here, but I will have something to ask related to sentence E. So could you please read it? Ah, good. Now I have a question. Diverted. What does that mean? It means that...
Preusmeren.
Bravo, to je prava reč. Preusmeren. So to divert something means to change its direction. Okay. To deviate means to stray away from some expected path or assigned path, or to be different from the expected standard or behavior or something like that. I odatle čista srpska reč devijacija, devijantan, okay, devijantno ponašanje. Yeah, so definitely not that. But so the plane was diverted to Manchester. Okay, F. Excellent, because luggage is a collective noun. Okay, so you cannot say one luggage, two luggages, my last luggage. No, that's why we have to use the word suitcase. What about G? Exactly. H? Nice. I? Good. Stop there for a second. If you declare anything at the customs, what's the Serbian term that we use for that? What does that mean? No idea.
Možda prijaviti.
Prijaviti, tačno. Mariana, was that you?
Yes.
Okay, lovely. You're breaking up a bit, but yeah, I heard that. So that's great. Prijaviti. You know why they ask you to declare something, because maybe you're taking something into the country that you should pay tax for. Znači da bi naplatili carinu, yeah? Because okay. To je to, to declare. Znači, molim vas, nemojte da kažete to report. Prijaviti. Znači, report je prijaviti, ali u nekom sasvim drugom značenju, u drugim situacijama se koristi report. Na carini je samo declare. Prosto vam skrećem pažnju na to zato što je tipična greška to report. So, no, that's not the right word. Okay, 3 more sentences. I think you'll survive. Okay. Right, good. Okay, so it's okay. A stewardess is okay. A steward is okay, but it is much safer and it's advisable nowadays to use the term flight attendant. Remember, we mentioned that last week, I think. So because of this tendency to be politically correct and to use a single term that would refer to both genders. So a flight attendant is always a safe option. Okay, Kay? Nice, and the last one? Good, very nice. So a single ticket is not a ticket for a single person, but this is British English for the American English term that is really transparent and, it's easy for us to understand one way. Znači, u američkom engleskom bi se reklo a one-way ticket, u jednom smeru karta, whereas in British English, it's a single ticket for some reason that only the Brits know. Okay, any questions, guys, about your homework? No? Okay, so while you're at page 11, could you turn the page? Because we're supposed to do exercises 4 and 5, and 6 on page 12. So let's do them right now, and then we'll go back to page 9 to do something. Može? Yeah?
Yes.
All right, nice. So exercises 4 and 5 are very easy, very simple, and they actually help you revise in British English or review in American English the vocabulary done so far. And there will be 1 or possibly 2 new words, but that's nothing. So in order for us to go faster through this, my page is a bit, it's a bad copy. And I have 3, oh my goodness, 3 streaks through the page. I hope you can read what's on this page in your readers. But okay, so I'm going to read the definitions in exercise 4, so because these are just definitions, and you offer the word. Feel free to turn on your mics. It might work. So a journey by ship for pleasure is a
voyage.
Cruise.
Try again.
Cruise, yeah.
Someone said cruise, yeah. Cruise, as in Tom Cruise. Good. A journey by plane is a
Flight.
It's a flight. Yes, it's a flight. The plan of a journey. Do you know this one?
Itinerary.
It's an itinerary, and you have it in the box above the sentences. It's the first word in the second row. An itinerary. To bi bio recimo kao plan puta. Znači, so we leave at 8. Remember your school excursions? So your parents would be given an itinerary, of course you as well. But I think that your parents were supposed to sign it as a sort of permission for you to go. So the itinerary contained of all the details of your trip. So like, you leave at 8, then you arrive in Belgrade at 11, free time until 1, or yeah, checking into the hotel until 12, free time until 1, lunch from 1 to 2 at the hotel, blah, 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 you know. So all the important things and times are mentioned in an itinerary. D, this is a trip. Yes, Jana, thank you very much. Jana, you're a fast typer. That's good. E, a journey for a scientific or special purpose.
An expedition.
Very nice. Excellent. An expedition, a holiday which includes organized travel and accommodation. So my copy is that here. So organized travel, yeah, and accommodation. That is a
package tour.
Package tour. Znači paket aranžmani, mi imamo tako nešto. Taking journeys as a general idea. So the most general word.
Travel.
Travel. Yes. A journey by sea. So meaning from point A to point B.
A voyage.
Right. So for example, if you're scared of flying, then you will take a cross-Atlantic ship from, for example, Portugal to New York, let's say, you know, and that will take you 2 weeks. But yeah, what can you do? I, an organized journey to see the sights of a place.
A tour.
And obviously a journey from one side of the sea to the other. This is truly a new word. It's a crossing. It's a crossing. So for example, you will make a crossing from Calais in France to Dover in England. So you will cross the English Channel. Mi ga zovemo La Manche, čisto srpska reč, zato što ga tako Francuzi zovu, ne znam kako oni izgovaraju, pretpostavljam skoro isto. You French people, how would you pronounce this in French, in nice French?
Excuse me, which word?
La Manche.
La Manche.
Oh, very nice. Thank you. Yeah, I don't know a word of French, so you know that's why I need help with French. But you know, so in English, this channel is called the English Channel. The English Channel. Okay, so you cross the English Channel, and that's how you make a crossing. Okay, all right. So now 5. Yeah. Let me see how much of time we have left. Okay, so we're kind of pressed for time. So could you now use the chat and type in the vocabulary that you would use in blanks in exercises 5 and 6? Because these are individual sentences that you have not done for homework. So it would take way too much time for you to have a look, to volunteer, to blah, blah, blah. So let's try to do it together somehow. So exercise 5. Oh, yes. Thank you. Oh, you're so fast. The travel agent will send you the itinerary for your trip. Very nice. My neighbors went on a guided tour of Rome. Good. C, the first time I went from England to France, we had a very rough
crossing.
Crossing. Thank you. Yeah. So crossing over the English Channel. D, the first prize in the competition, good competition. So the first prize in the competition is a luxury Mediterranean cruise. Very nice. E, when you go on a package tour, you pay one price which covers everything. F, the college organized thank you, Anya, wonderful, an expedition to search for the ancient ruins. G, Olympic Airways announces the arrival of
flight.
Yes. Good. H, the Titanic sank on its first voyage. Yeah, on its first voyage because it was headed to New York. I, travel is one of my main interests. So again, that most general word. And the last one, Mr. Dean is away on a business trip at the moment. Thank you, guys. Thank you. You're very good and very fast and very efficient. Thank you. And exercise 6. We'll do it in the same way. So I stayed in France for 2 weeks last year. So we need a typically British word That means 2 weeks or a period of 14 days.
A fortnight.
Very nice. Anna, Velimir, great. Also look at the chat. Fortnight, yeah. So many Americans don't understand what this means. Igor, you used the spelling of that computer game.
Yeah, I know. It was intentional.
Yeah. I know. I wanted to mention that. By the way, has anyone among you played Fortnite?
Unfortunately, yes. Sadly, yes.
Oh my goodness. Wow. So you all have bad memories of that.
I personally haven't, but yeah.
Yeah.
I, for one, am proud that I played it.
Okay, cool. Okay, so Nicolia, Roblox. I've never heard of that. How do you pronounce that? Roblox. What's that? I've never heard of that game. Yeah, so is Fortnite truly that addictive?
Well, it depends. It once was, but now people have gotten way too good at the game because that's the only thing they do. I mean, kids.
Yeah. Us kids, you mean? Yeah.
Well, younger people than us.
Yeah.
But the last time I played it was quite depressing, I must say.
Yeah. Okay. Well, it's always better to, like immerse yourself in real life. Okay. So shall we move on to sentence B? It's difficult to find anywhere to stay in this town in the summer.
Accommodations.
Yes, accommodation. Be careful with the spelling. Double C, double M. It's important to know that it's double C, double M. Of course, both Natalia and Velimir use the correct spelling, but I'm just drawing your attention to typical mistakes. We were short of money, so we decided to get lifts in other people's cars.
To hitchhike.
Exactly, to hitchhike. D, I'd like a room for the night, please. A room for 2 people or
a double.
A double. Of course, you see that here the whole phrase room for 2 people is underlined. So yes, you can say a double without the word room following double because, you're at the reception desk in a hotel. So of course, you're not asking for a double scotch, but you're asking for a double room. But generally speaking, the phrase is a double room, a single room, a triple room, a family room, and so on. E, the place where we stayed wasn't a hotel, but a private house where you pay to stay and have meals.
A hostel?
It's actually a guest house. This is a guest house. There are many guest houses in Britain. So that's very, very similar to a bed and breakfast. It's just that at a bed and breakfast, you can have only breakfast when it comes to your meals. And, in a guest house, you can make arrangements for more meals, more than just breakfast. What's a hostel? Look at the next page. We will use the word hostel on the next page, but let's do F. Let's not forget it. So I'd like to reserve 3 single rooms for the next week, please, to book. Yes. Thank you, ladies. Milica, Natalia, thank you. Yeah. Now, G, can you turn the page? There are 4 sentences on page 13 in the reader. So yes, Stevan, Natalia, thank you. It was raining and we couldn't find a campsite. What's a campsite in Serbian? What word do we use for this? Mi samo kažemo kamp. Samo kamp. Kamp. Have you ever been camping, guys?
Yes.
Yes. Did you like it?
Yes.
Yeah? Okay.
We had a great
like it when you went? Who didn't like it? Me. I hated it. Okay. The bugs, the dirt.
Actually, I think everybody liked it. Last time we did it, two people took out like a whole tree that had fallen out of the forest, and they brought it next to the fire, and we kind of chopped pieces off that tree to like put on the fire. Yeah, it was.
I think it also
weird
depends
things.
who you go with.
Yeah, but also where you go. So I need a mudless and insect-free place. And
I
then,
actually always liked catching the bugs that were on the tents.
Anya. Oh, lucky you, lucky you. I hate bugs. Yeah, well, anyway, so different people, different tastes. So what about age? I'd like a room for the night, please. Do you have a vacancy? Right. Yes, Natalie Teodora Steven, thank you. The next one, the school has its own hostel. Hostel. Okay, so the word hostel can refer to something like a very cheap and very simple hotel. Čista srpska reč, mislim, mi imamo puno hostela, o tome smo već pričali i već smo pričali o tom značenju reči hostel, so pay attention to the pronunciation. Hostel, but hotel. Hostel, hotel. Okay, now this is another meaning of the word hostel, and it's usually used in British English, and that refers to a dorm or dormitory. Dom, studentski dom ili učenički dom. Okay. All right. And the last one, I gave a tip to the
Porter.
porter. Yes, this is almost a Serbian word, to the porter. Okay. After the class, I will assign homework. One of the exercises for homework will be exercise 10 on page 14. I'm just telling you that now so that you know. And you will also do an exercise on page 19 with the title Driving. Could we go to page 19, please, just for a second? Znači, samo da objasnimo. Kažite mi kad mogu da pričam.
Možete.
Možemo. Dobro, evo, okay, I will. All right. So, znači, na 19. strani malo ovo nesrećno urađeno, sorry, that was my mistake because I typed it. Znači, ovo driving nije pod brojem. Bilo bi jasnije da je pod brojem 1, znači to je prvo vežbanje, ovo ispod je drugo vežbanje. Znači, vi ćete raditi samo driving, just that part. Just that exercise. This is not an easy exercise because it's packed with vocabulary. But again, the good news is that you have the vocabulary that you need to use given above the text itself. But since we're on this page, we might as well do that exercise below. Taman da ne dođe do zabune. Znači, ajde odmah da uradimo ovo. So this is an example of an open-close test. Sećate se ono što smo pričali, close test, to je recimo ovo prvo driving što ćete da uradite za domaći. So you have a text with blanks and you have the vocabulary that you need to use in the blanks given above the text. So that's it. So you often need to use the process of elimination and you'll be done. However, look at the close test below. There are no words that are offered above the text. So you have to come up with your own words that make sense, so that that are logical, but that are also grammatically correct. So and always bear in mind, so there will always be a blank or two or even more, which can have two or more than two solutions. So multiple solutions, multiple vocabulary items that are perfectly acceptable. Okay, so all of you have a look. Actually, no. Take 3 minutes to try to fill in the gaps, okay? And then a volunteer will read it and that's how we'll check it. Može? 3 minutes. Okay, starting now. All right, have you finished? Steven. Okay. Let's see whether he's the first one to raise his hand. Yes. Steven, are you volunteering to read this?
Sure, but I might have some mistakes.
Of course, no problem. That's why we're here.
All right, should I start?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so there was a serious accident on one of the main roads into Stuttgart. I know.
Yeah, in English they would say Stuttgart. In German they would say Stuttgart. So yeah.
Right, Stuttgart, I guess. Right, so Stuttgart this morning, and an old lorry stopped in the middle of the road, and the driver couldn't move it.
Okay, stop for a second. Very nice. An old lorry stopped, or how would you say pokvario se? This is a phrasal verb. And
broke down.
Yeah, broke down. So let me write it down for you. So both are perfectly fine. They are both correct, but you know. So I just wanted to check whether yeah, I'm trying to read this. Nicola, does shutdown work? Not really. You know, a car or a lorry, which of course is British English for a truck in American English. So they break down. Pokvariti se. Usually some kind of machinery that uses electricity shuts down and breaks down as well. How about jammed? No, I really wouldn't say it jammed. You know, something gets jammed, like maybe your transmission gets jammed. Transmission, to je ono zamenjanje brzina. The transmission stick, or your gear stick, or gear lever or lever can get jammed. Znači zaglavi se I ne možete da ga pokrenete. So an old lorry stopped or an old lorry broke down. Go on reading, please.
All right, so it was 8 o'clock, the middle of the day, I guess. So it's.
I'm sorry, is 8 the middle of the day?
Yeah, I could say middle of the night, but.
Well, I wouldn't say it's the middle of the night. You know, like 11 p.m., midnight, 1, 2 a.m. That's what we would call the middle of the night. Middle of the rush hour.
Okay.
Usred špica. Saobraćajnog špica. So there are 2 rush hours. One is in the morning, usually between 7 and 9 in Western countries. And another one is in the afternoon when people go back from work. They go back home from work or from school and so on. So 2 rush hours in a single day. So this is the middle of the morning rush hour, or just the middle of the rush hour, because if it's 8, it has to be the morning. Because at 8 p.m. there's no rush hour. Okay.
All right.
Go on.
So it soon created a terrible traffic jam.
Yes, exactly.
Other drivers got very angry, and a man in a Mercedes tried to go round the lorry. Unfortunately, another car was coming in the opposite direction. And for the next one, I wasn't really sure.
The driver. Čekajte samo da vidim. Igor pita lane, perhaps. Let me see. That's for the previous sentence. Unfortunately, another car was coming in the opposite lane. Well, it wouldn't pose any threat if the other car was coming in the opposite lane. Jer lane je saobraćajna traka. Znači, ako dolazi iz suprotne saobraćajne trake, znači to je ta njegova traka, it doesn't pose any danger. Ali ako je u istoj traci, ali from the opposite direction, then that's a dangerous situation. Okay, and then let me see, Natalia. Thank you. This is lovely. Yes, and Nicolia braked. Exactly. So the driver braked. Okay.
Možda se kaže pull the brakes.
Bravo.
I ja sam to hteo.
Pulled the brakes or stepped on the brake, može I to. Ko je ta Ljiljana Mihajlović? Jo, Bože, dobro. Okay. Sorry. Yes, I wrote break versus break. What's the difference between these 2 words? So the pronunciation obviously isn't different.
Yeah. Break is to stop, and break is to, like snap something in half. Smash.
Okay. Yes, the second one can mean to smash, or if it's a noun, take a break. Take a break, yeah? Dobro, evo Nikolija vam je lepo sve objasnila u dvojezičnom rečniku. Thank you so much. Okay. Da. Break, ovo prvo je kočnica ili kočiti. So it can be a noun or a verb. The second one can also be a noun or a verb. Okay. It can mean polomiti. It can mean, something like there's a break in whatever, like pukotina ili tako nešto, koja god vrsta nekog loma je u pitanju. I naravno može da bude odmor, as in a school break or a break from work and so on. Okay, so let's say the driver braked hard or stepped on the brakes or hit the brakes and tried to stop, but
he couldn't avoid the accident.
Good. He couldn't avoid or he couldn't prevent the accident. Both are perfectly fine. Yes.
Mm-hmm. All right. The Mercedes hit the front of his car.
Hit the front of his car. That's nice. Or crashed into the front of his car. Znači, udario je, zalepio se da prednji deo njegovih kola. Aha.
All right, so it was, again, I wasn't really sure, like, it was a bad collision?
Could be a horrible collision, a terrible collision, a devastating collision.
Unavoidable, maybe?
Molim?
Could it be like an unavoidable collision, since he couldn't hit the brakes in time?
Could be, yes, why not?
But isn't it a head-on collision?
Yes, there it is. Yes. So that's what Igor and Natalia offered, and someone called Ljiljana. So it was a head-on collision. So listen, any adjective that makes sense would be okay in this blank, like terrible, horrible, devastating, unavoidable, frontal. Ono što mi zovemo čelnim sudarom, to se zove head-on collision. Čelni sudar. Znači, the fronts of two vehicles hit each other. So that's a head-on collision. There's a reason, guys, why I am typing these into the chat. It means that although they are not in the reader, we should know them. So consider this chat as our blackboard. Znači, da smo u učionici, ovo bih napisala na tabli. And it goes without saying that we should know this for the midterm, for the final exam, the final written exam, the final oral exam. Okay, so a head-on collision. Na srpskom čelni sudar. Okay, one more sentence, please.
The driver of the Mercedes was okay, but the other driver was badly injured, and both cars were badly damaged.
Very nice. Thank you very much. Can we say the other driver was badly wounded? Milica says injured/hurt. Milica, you don't like wounded.
I think wounded is when someone hurts you, like with a knife or something.
Yes, okay, all right. Or people usually get wounded in a war or something like that. Yes. Da. Biti povređen i biti ranjen su različite stvari. Znači, kao što u srpskom koristimo povređen i ranjen u različitim situacijama, tako i u engleskom injured or wounded. Can we say the other driver was badly hurt? Is that acceptable? Yes. Why? Because Milica says so, and Milica is right. Yeah. Thank you, Milica. And both cars were badly, samo da vidim nešto sam, mislim da sam propustila, totaled. Da li ste, Igor, mislili both cars were badly totaled?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, not really, not in this text. Ali kad ne bismo imali badly, kad ne bismo imali the adverb badly, then that would be okay. So if a car is totaled, I'm now addressing the rest of the class, it means that it is beyond repair. It's
as far as I know, sorry, it's an informal term or slang.
Totaled.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's informal and it's used primarily in American English, but it's acceptable. We can use totaled here, but what is preventing us from using a totaled in this particular close test is the adverb badly. Jer kad je totaled, onda je skroz gotovo. Znači, nema onda badly ili to a certain extent ili tako nešto. Znači, to bi bilo kao kad bismo rekli vrlo odlično. Znači, prosto neki pridevi imaju takvo značenje da ne možemo da stavljamo nikakav quantifier before them. Okay, any questions or any comments?
No.
No? Okay. All right. Now, guys, so could you go to the very end of your reader? You have a list of linking words and phrases. Naslov je achieving coherence. Znači, skroz je na kraju readera. So you did storytelling with Day and yesterday. Now, between that your first in-class storytelling and your second in-class storytelling, which you will do with me on the 18th, so 2 weeks from now, could you please go through this list? The sooner the better. Nicolia, did you want to ask something?
I think I pressed it by accident. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. I think it's page 90, I don't know, 2 or 3 or something. Achieving coherence.
94.
94, thank you very much. Because you've seen that I have loose sheets. I do have the reader, but this is easier for me if I have loose sheets. Okay, dobro, znači našli ste to. Achieving coherence, šta je to koherentnost? To je kompaktnost, povezanost teksta. So this will be useful not just for story retelling, but for any kind of writing that you will do in the future. This does not mean that you should know all of these linking words or phrases, but just go through each group. Znači imate groups, for example, znači na koji način da nešto ilustrujete, na primjer, nekim primjerom, pod B, addition, na koji način da dodate informaciju, C, comparison, kako da pokažete da su neke stvari ili neki delovi teksta ili neke ideje da su slične ili da su različite, to je ova grupica pod D. Znači, pogledajte recimo pod D, it's probably the longest list. Everyone knows the word but, ali ako vi kontrast u svom story retellingu ili u bilo kakvom pisanju koje radite na fakultetu, znači ne mora da to bude baš esej koji se zvanično zove esej, nego recimo kad pišete odgovore na pitanje iz književnosti, iz nekih kulturoloških predmeta, znači sve što je vezani tekst, pa čak i na nivou jedne rečenice. You show variety of your English by using varied and more advanced vocabulary. Znači, umjesto da u story retellingu 3 puta pomenete but, može jednom da bude but, pa drugi put however, pa treći put recimo nevertheless. Okay, to show contrast. So use varied language, that's what I'm saying. So what's the point of this list? Just go through each of these groups, znači organizovane su po značenju, and just identify at least 3 or 4 of the words or phrases that you already know, but just underline them so that you can bear them in mind when doing your next story retelling, and that you can remind yourselves not to use the same very simple linking words or phrases throughout your story retelling. Okay? So that's the purpose of page 94. Now, all right. Okay. My papers are okay. Can you now turn to page, let me just check what page it is in your reader, page 32. Do you see that it's a picture dictionary page? All right, so I told you at the very beginning of the course that the picture dictionary pages throughout the readers have been taken from an American English picture dictionary. And that has been done on purpose so that you get some exposure to American English. Otherwise, the rest of the contents of the reader has been taken from different British English sources. All right, so, oops. Okay, sorry, I almost knocked down the mouse. So you're looking at page 32 in the reader, aren't you? No one will ask you to, yes? Right. No one will ask you to name or mark. Znači, nećete dobiti sliku kola pa sad obeležite šta se kako zove, taman posla. You will be asked to draw a car with all its parts. Are you scared? I'm kidding. Okay, Emilia, yeah, thank you. All right. Okay. Znači što ja sam najnesposobnija, verujte mi, da smo u učionici, vi biste vidjeli moje crtačke sposobnosti i padali biste u nesvest smeha, but yeah, unfortunately, I cannot shine. I don't have an opportunity to shine in this way. I'm just kidding. Okay, so you may be asked a question along the lines of name and then a particular number of car parts that you can see on the inside of a car, okay? Or on the outside of a car or something like that. So look, you see that certain words on pages 32 and 33 are circled. Actually, the numbers before them are circled. Yeah? So these are the words that you should know and start learning them today because you should know them before the midterm test. And the midterm test will probably be at the end of November or the very beginning of December. We haven't set the date yet, but start learning them now. All right. Good. Znači, to su ove dve strane. Bear in mind that this is American English. Look at page 35. Nothing is circled. That means that we are not going to test this page in the midterm test, in the final exam. No, this is just for those enthusiasts among you who would like to know something, some more details about highways or streets in general. All right, look at pages 35, 36, and 37. You see that nothing is circled there, but certain words or the numbers before them are crossed out. So on these 3 pages, because there are more words than you should know than those that you shouldn't, so you should know only those words that are not crossed out. Jel jasno to?
Jeste.
Sve ću tu da vam napišem, znači i samo molim vas najbitnije na svetu. Znači ja ću ovo da stavim kao jedan homework assignment. However, there's nothing to submit, there's nothing to upload when it comes to these. Znači nemojte ništa da uploadujete, to je više samo kao podsjetnik za vas šta treba da uradite. Can you go to page 51 now? Znači, kažem, opet sve ću da vam napišem ovo što vam pričam usmeno, znači šta treba znati, šta ne, ali ipak da prođemo zajedno. Imamo još 2 minuta, stići ćemo da prođemo. So, the next huge topic is food. So, pages 51, 2, 3, 4, you see that certain words are crossed out. Okay, so learn or revise. This should be revision. Znači, zaista ovo treba da bude revision, odnosno morali biste da znate na ovom nivou sve to, ali desi se po nešto, neka reč ovde, onda se zaboravi ili niste sigurni šta beše i tako. Znači, na stranama 51, 2, 3, and 4, just revise or learn the words that are not crossed out. Pages 55 and 56. Just the circled words. Znači, tu naučite just the circled words. Znači, pogledajte recimo page 56. Samo imate nekoliko reči koje su zaokružene. To je to. Okay, page 57, everything on page 57. Mislim i da piše gore u levom uglu all, so all the vocabulary, it's really very easy, very simple. Look at pages 58, 9, 60, and 61. These have been taken not from an American English dictionary, but from a French English dictionary. So ignore the French. Look at all of those pages. Just revise or learn, if you don't know them, only the words with a tick. Tick, British English or Czech American English. To je ovo štiklirano. Znači, na strani 58 imate samo 1, 2, 3 reči. Na strani 59 nemate ništa štiklirano. Nothing. Znači, ako vas nešto interesuje od ovoga, pogledajte. Znači, na strani 59 nema ništa. Na strani 60 samo jedna reč, the first one, rolling pin, oklagija. Na strani 61 imate jedno 4 reči, čini mi se. So very, very, very few words. Then, pages 62 and 3, everything. This is very important. Page 64 and 5, just the circled words. Okay, like hamburger, cheeseburger, hot dog, sve croissant, sve neke strane nepoznate reči. I strana 66 je također from a picture dictionary. It's a menu at a restaurant. Nothing is circled, nothing is crossed out. So this is just for you to look at if you want. If you don't want that, just ignore this page, okay? So nothing will be tested from this page unless some vocabulary that is mentioned on this page is mentioned in an exercise that we will actually do from the reader, okay? Znači, još jednom, ovo nije za sljedeći čas, ali recimo za 3 do 4 nedelje od ovog momenta. I pogledat ćete, ovo je 99% revision. Okay. Any questions? We're done for today, guys, but please ask me questions if you have any. Vidim da sam vas zadržala 1 minut preko vremena. Please forgive me. If you have a question, stay in the meeting. I will be here for 1 more minute to see if anyone has a question. Ako čutite još minut, onda se i ja odjavljujem. All right, bye-bye, guys.
Doviđenja.
Ciao.
Bye.
Doviđenja.